Hey, welcome back to DIY Willy. Today, well, you can see the Baja right behind me. I've got the body back on it. But I'm not going to be working on the Baja today. I got to let the brain descramble about the Baja. I've been working on it so much, getting that engine lined up with that clutch that, man, I really need to take a break from it. And I think I said that in my last video too, that I was going to take a break from it. But I mean, it's coming along really good. Yeah, it's coming along really good, but it's a huge amount of work. And, well, like I said, I'm going to take a break. So today, I'm going to work on Max and Biggs the Briggs. As you know, if you follow my videos, I've got it hung a different way this time. I actually hung it up with my chain fall that I was using for the body and the Baja Bug. I don't know why I didn't do this before, but I got tired of working on my knees and or on the motorcycle stand where it falls off when I take weight out of the front or the weight off the back. Anyway, I've got it rigged up here kind of haphazardly. It's safe though, so that I can get it off the ground. Kind of like Vice Grip Garage when he says, get it up in your teeth, you know? I got it up in my teeth. So this will make it easier to work on. And I think things will go a lot easier. And in fact, I can even swivel it. I kind of like that I can move it around. Be easier if I didn't have so much stuff in it in the garage. I've really kind of outgrown this shop, but you know, this is what I got, so this is what I got to work with. As I get maybe going along a little bit later, I can get rid of some of this stuff in here, these projects, and get them out. Like the golf cart is the biggest one. I got to get that thing out of here. I got the bug pan body, bug pan over there. I got to get that out of there, but I got some parts I want to get off of it. And of course, the big one. But for the most part, you know, these mini bikes, I have a lot of fun with them. I haven't ridden them since almost a year ago now. But we're going to get back on it. You know, we've got Max rebuilt and, well, refreshed anyway. And, yeah, so I'm going to get the wheels off. And I got to get this hub. I got to get this hub here on the back where the chain goes over here. Because I've got a feeling this hub is bent. So, there's obvious damage there somewhere. And Groot's in there barking. So we'll get this off. We'll get these parts swapped around. And we'll try it out and see if we can ride it without the chain falling off again. Alright, let's go. I gotta say, that worked really well. Hanging it up by my chain fall, supporting all the weight. Taking the tires, front and back off. Got my table set up here. I'm going to do the work right there. I got the fan blowing because it's a hot day here in Southern California today. I know it's fall already, but man, is it warm. So, yeah, I got everything apart. I don't think the axle is bent. I think we survived. I think the axle survived. I don't think it's bent. So, that's a good sign. I was going to try to swap it with the front one and just see, but I think the axle's okay. We may swap it with the front one just because and give it a shot, but I think it's fine. So now we're going to get over here. We're going to take the hub off. To get to the hub, it's bolted to the wheel with 5/16 bolts. And to install the 5/16 bolts on the wheel, you have to drill these little bumps out. If you drill them out from the inside as 5/16, then your 5/16 bolts will fit through. And there's a spot for the head on the inside that keeps it from turning. The same shape as the head of the bolt. And you can see it right there. So you just drill these out. Put a 5/16 bolts in there. Okay, there's the one that's not drilled yet. Right there. And yeah, and then bolt it together. I'll put a link in the description for these hubs that fit these wheels. And I'll show you, I'll put in there what bolts I use with the nuts. So the nuts and the bolts, you know, the nuts, it's 5/16 on this side, I believe, and and 1/2 inch on this side, or it might be 1/2 inch on that side too. I don't remember. Anyway, it's 5/16 bolts. So I'm gonna get that hub off of there, and we'll get going on the rear one as well. All right, it's simple, 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 simple. I've got lock nuts on there because I didn't ever want them to come off. So I'm just gonna try to put my finger through and hold them up so they don't drop down, and then just give it a bing, bing, bing. Just like that. Same on the other one. Let's give it a bing. Bing, bing, bing. Oh, that one's a little bit long, I guess. There you go. Zippity-doo-dah. There we go. Now this hub will come off. You can see it just uses those 3 patterns. It's got patterns for many different bolt hole patterns, but I only use those 3. And as you can see, I just drilled them out to the 5/16 and ran the bolts through. Now, I didn't think I was going to have to split these rims, but I guess I do to get the bolts out. I don't want the bolts in there just flopping around. I could stick them through there and just tighten the nuts down, but why have the extra weight on there? I'll just go ahead and deflate the tires, unbolt the rims, take the bolts out and bolt it back together, and reflate the rims. I guess it's more work than I wanted to do. I didn't think about that right there. So yeah, we're just gonna get that done and move on. All right, so I've got the rim. I got the tube deflated. I pulled the valve stem out with my valve stem tool and allowed the air to get out of the tube. I split the rim. I took the 3 bolts out. These again are, I believe they're 5/8 or 5/16 bolts as well on the rim, and a 1/2 inch head. So I got those out, and here's my 3 5/16 that were for the brake hub. And yeah, let's take a look at the holes I drilled. So here's another look at it. I drilled them out center for the 5/16 bolts, and this holds the head perfectly, as you can see, like that. It just holds it nicely, just like that, so it won't turn when you put your hubs on. Now you would use these holes. It's on both rims. Both rims have them. You can drill them out on this side too, and I did on the power wheel, the rear wheel. I drilled them out so I could have my brake hub and my sprocket hub on there. They're the same type of hub. You just got to make sure you get the right sprocket or brake rotor that'll mount to them. So anyway, I've got this done. I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble it, reinflate the tire, and get to the back one. Now this, I did this for you, Cruiser Man, because I know you asked me about how to mount the sprockets and hubs to these wheels. Yeah, I know you're using them too. So that's how you do it, and I believe that's how you do a lot of the Astro wheels. I believe that's how you do a lot of, they're not Astro wheels. These are Astro wheels. Azusa wheels. That's how you do a lot of the 2-piece wheels. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this one put back together, get the tube aired back up, and get to the other wheel. Sorry about Spike over there. He's being loud. He's been quiet all morning, but now for some reason when I'm trying to show you guys something, he's being loud. Come on, Spike. All right, anyway, let's get going. Here we go with the rear wheel. I got the front wheel all done. Yeah, look how badly these bolts got munched, man, with the chain, all the sprocket. This was a brand new sprocket. Look how bad it got chewed up. Anyway, we'll get these are 1/4-20 bolts, and it's a 7/16 head. We'll get these off, and then we'll talk about the spacers and get to the hub on the bottom. All right. Change tools. Get these 7/16 off there. I'm going to hold the bottom and hit the top. Oops. There we go. And I'll just set them aside. Alright, so we have both sections of the sprocket adapter off, and these are quarter 28 bolts. The length, I think, is 1.25 or 1.5 inches. I'll have to let you know when I get one out. But they're threaded into the black adapter here. Once it goes through the hub adapter into the actual, I guess this is also a sprocket adapter or hub or chain adapter. Once it goes through this, these holes are threaded. So I actually have to thread these out. Now, my socket ratchet doesn't fit on the back because of the hub, so it takes time to get them out by turning them, each one individually like that. And I'm going to go ahead and get all this done and get this hub off so that we can talk about the other parts of it. So I got the old hub taken apart. I've got all the hardware out of it. I don't know. I tried to check to see if this hardware was bent towards the end of it here. It was really hard to take out, and there's no way that it should be hard to take out. It should just thread right through there, unless the very end of it where the nut was got bent, you know? I don't know. I tried taking a couple of them and sticking them in my drill and spinning them in the drill, but I really couldn't tell. I don't know if I could get them straight enough to tell if it was the bolt that was bent or if it was the fact that it wasn't in the drill straight or not. Something's not right, because the hub, this is the hub off the front. This one's not bent. And the one that I took off, this one, doesn't appear to be bent either. I mean, it sits flush on there. I mean, it doesn't appear to be bent either. So I don't know what could have been causing the sprocket to go like that, unless the axle is bent. But it doesn't look bent either. The bearings look okay. They spin all right. That was a little bit questionable. Wonder why that is. Should probably take those out and grease them up, huh? That bearing might be suffering a little bit. Do you think that's what it could be? I don't want to take this thing all the way apart again. Probably is a good idea to do it though while I have everything off. To repack these bearings. Oh boy, that's gonna be an adventure too. Get some grease down in there, get them cleaned up and get some grease down in there. I should probably do that. I could knock them out and grease them up. I should probably do that. Well, let me do that, and I'll get back with you when I get that done. Then we'll go ahead and put this back together, and I'll talk about what I've got going on. Alright, so I've got the brake rotor back on. I got the bearing greased up, and the seal put back on. I got a feeling I'm going to need to replace that bearing, so I'll probably replace both of them. Unfortunately, I don't have any in stock, so I'm going to have to order some up. It's definitely got some really catchy spots when you turn it. I guess I should have greased it better maybe when I put it in, if I even greased it at all. I don't remember. So this is all back together. Now I'm going to work on this side. This is the sprocket side, and I'll explain the spacers I used to space out the sprocket adapter and apply the sprocket. But yeah, I'll definitely be ordering me up some bearings. I just use my high temp wheel grease here, bearing grease, to grease those up. It should be fine. And clean my hands up, and we'll get going putting this darn sprocket back on. Hopefully things go well. I mean, everything seems to lay flat. Seems to lay flat. So I don't see why adding the spacers to it would make a difference. So for spacers I use 8mm nuts. There's 2. I put 2 on each side, and they measure the same. I don't remember what the measurement is. I'd have to get my calipers out and measure it, but they fit perfectly over the quarter 28 bolt, and will allow spacing of the sprocket adapter. So they thread into the sprocket adapter, and they match the holes that come in the hub adapter. So I'll just stick this through, and we'll stick the 2. See, I start recording, start talking with you guys, and there's Spike. I can't believe it. I don't know why he does that. He just does. And then we'll thread it into the adapter. Hopefully. I'll say again, hopefully. There we go. Now you want to get them all in before you tighten them up, because it does apply pressure and cause the threads to get really tight. So there's the first one. We'll do the next one. We'll do one over here that'll keep it spaced up. Make it easier to put them all in. You don't want to get them too tight. Just gonna put the 2 bolts over them. This is when it gets hard. When you start putting the spacers in. With the adapter. There we go. The ends of the bolts are a little bit munched up, but that's all right. They'll go in. They'll go in. Now for the next one, it's a little bit harder, but I'll set the nuts inside. I'll line up the bolt and send her home. Just like that. That one feels really good. Okay, I'm going to do the rest of them, and I'll show you when I get done. Alright, it's all back together. Now we can put it back on the bike and cross our fingers that everything's going to be okay. It looks good. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and order up some new bearings. I may order up a new adapter, hub adapter, and get some new hardware. It's a little bit worn and questionable. So I may do that still, but I can't do that today. So yeah, got it all put back together, changed out the hub, and let's get it back on the bike. It takes a minute to do that. It's got spacers and everything I got to work with. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the front axle on the back, and just eliminate any possibility of failure there. If the axle's bent, or maybe these bearings are damaged, that's why they're kind of sketchy. I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and change out the axle and put the wheel back on. So I'm going to spare you the pain of watching that, and I'm going to get on it right now, and I'll let you know when I get it done. Taking a look at this thing now that I got the wheel back on the bike with the new axle. Well, with the front axle anyway, it's not new. Yeah, it kind of looks good. It doesn't look like it's spinning or wobbling. It looks pretty straight. Even the rotor looks pretty straight. Everything looks good. I don't know if you can see up the alignment with the chain. I mean, it all looks really good. The wheel seems to spin nice now that it's greased. That probably would have helped before. Everything looks okay. I think I'm gonna go for it. Put it all back together and send it. We'll take a ride down the street. Let's get that chain back on and get the rear axle tightened up and get the brake rotor or the brake caliper back on so we can stop. Okay, the back's all back together. The chain's on. The chain is on. I took the belt off. I just wanted to, let me get the bushing off there. I don't want to lose that. I just want to look at everything, how it all turns. And it seems to be fine. I don't have any of the skipping I used to have back here on the rear sprocket. Seems to be going fine. Even if I turn this side, it doesn't seem to skip anymore. I mean, time will tell when we put the juice on it from Briggs what exactly is going to happen, but it seems to be working fine right now. So I guess we're going to definitely go with it. Everything looks good. Seems to be clearanced everywhere. Chain alignment looks pretty darn good. Looks like equal spacing down here on the torque converter. I mean, it all looks pretty good. I'm leaving the chain a little bit loose just so it has flexibility. Yeah, let's put the clutch back together and see what happens. So what a job that was. Got it all taken apart. We swapped out the hubs, the sprocket adapters, cleaned out the threads, lubricated, greased the bearings, swapped the axles even, put the front axle in the back axle in front. We got it all back together. And it all looks pretty good. We saw that the rear wheel was spinning. The chain was staying in place. It wasn't skipping. And, well, now it's time to get it back on the ground and see how it rolls. If it rolls good, then we might just start it up and take it for a quick little ride. If it doesn't, then we'll resume this project tomorrow because I got to go to work. But, yeah, let's put it back on the ground and take it for a little roll. Not start it, but just a little roll to see how the chain does. And check it out. So it's been a couple days since we did the work on Max and the Briggs. Seems to be okay. Seemed to really help. Everything, I just took it for a little ride and everything seems to be working fine. However, I did notice that Briggs is smoking a lot and that's probably not good. I didn't get new rings when I refreshed it, but I think that's going to be a problem. Anyway, let's get it out, take it for a ride, and show you. Well, that was just a quick little ride. I'm working on the Razor project right now. I didn't have a lot of time to spend with Briggs right now and Max. But it seems like the repairs we did worked. Everything seems rideable. It doesn't hop or skip anymore. It just goes. And, well, you probably saw in the video that there's a lot of blue smoke. And, well, that's not good. Briggs is probably done. Looks good, though. I'll probably take him off, put him as a trophy piece on the shelf. Yeah, I don't want it to get any worse. And then we may put back on the 79cc, or maybe the one of the other Briggs engines. One of them, when I bought it, it didn't have a carburetor, but it said it ran. Maybe we'll put that one on here. It's a larger engine. Or, you know what? I also have that Life in 3-horse that originally came with these Moto engines. That's brand new in the box. I might put it on. Maybe it's time to play with that one for a little while. I don't know. Help me decide. Put it in the comments down below of what engine I should put. I would like to put the 224 back on there, but it's not running right now. And I've got some parts to tear into it and figure out why it's not running. But, and I'm definitely not putting the Monster 212 back on there. But for right now, I think we solved the problem of Max throwing the chains all the time. And it was that hub. Or it could even have been the axle, because I swapped the axle out too. But it seems fine on the front. We'll take it for a longer ride another day. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And always come back to DIY Willy for your mini bike needs. Your Chevy Silverados, your Volkswagen Bugs, and Razors, Samurai, all the projects we have here. And well, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.